देख रहे हैं STV अरदास आवाज करगल।
Good morning, viewers. During this entire process of the National Road Safety Months, which has been started from 18 January to 17 February, many program has been organized. So this program was very important to public. That's why we have invited two important eminent personalities to our this show, and they are from the medical background and the engineering background. This program was very important for the public because we are recording on the basis of the public as well as the students all across the India. So we today have a guest over here, Dr. Joseph Daniel, orthopedic surgeon, and Kosar Tabassum Kari, assistant executive engineer. Thank you both of you on this show, sir. Sir, as you know that accident rate of the India is increasing day by day. As we know that it is saying that every 3 minutes there is one death. It's equivalent to crashing a jumbo jet every day. So can you give some light on what should be the first reaction when the accidents occurred in some spot where the doctors and the paramedical medical staff is not available? So can you give some light on this, sir?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on. The best, they say that prevention is the best cure. So if we can avoid accidents, it's altogether good. And as you suggested that there is one road accident related death every 3 minutes.
Every 3 minutes.
Every 3 minutes. That is simply unacceptable. And as the roads are improving, it is a very good sign, and hopefully it will come down in the future. But आज अगर रोड एक्सीडेंट हुई और कोई रिमोट प्लेस में हुई तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए एज पब्लिक व्हाट शुड वी डू. तो यूजुअली हमारा रिएक्शन ये होता है कि पहले दौड़ के वो जो घायल हुआ है उनको उठाना और उनको ले जाना. दैट इज़ आवर फर्स्ट रिएक्शन, टू लिफ्ट देम अप एंड कैरी देम समवेयर एंड गिव देम वाटर टू ड्रिंक. Most of these are wrong reactions, and they can be detrimental to the patient. So if there is an accident and I reach there as a member of the public, the first thing I should do is to secure the site. इसका मतलब the traffic on this side and on that side should be stopped so that there is no further accidents happening secondary to this accident. So if there are 2 or 3 people, you send one person to stop the traffic on that side and another person to stop the traffic on this side. And when that is done, the next thing is to call emergency services, let them know and give them the maximum time possible to get there as soon as they can. There is a number which is called the Pan India Emergency Services number, which is 112. They direct you to the police, to the health, to the fire services and all of these. Okay, and so the first thing is to secure the site, prevent further accident happening by stopping the traffic on both sides, then call the emergency services, and then attend to the patient. Usually 93% of, I'm sorry I don't know the figures, but more than half of accidents are lethal to vulnerable road users. That means pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists. When an accident happens between a motor vehicle and one of these, then they are likely to sustain the fatality. And so if you see a patient lying on the road, then what do we do? First thing is, if again in terms of securing the site, if there is a fuel spill, diesel or petrol spill, try and cover it up so that it doesn't catch fire and cause more harm to those who are injured. And then if the car is still running, try and turn off the ignition if you can safely do that. And after that, you see who is the one who needs priority attention. So usually those who are in a lot of pain, they are making a lot of noise, but they are not the ones who need the priority. The ones that are quiet, jo chilla nahi pa rahe, jo probably just lying there, probably they've had more injuries. So you need to attend to those. And the first thing is to see if they are conscious or unconscious. If an injured person is lying on the road, just try to talk to him. And if he's answering, that means his airway is okay, his breathing is okay, and to some extent his consciousness is okay.
Okay, sir.
So you've ruled out those three things. And if he's conscious, then the best thing is to put them in a recovery position. Recovery position is where the patient lies to one side with the upper knee flexed. So upper knee ko mod ke, and the opposite hand lying against the chin or against the cheek on this side. So as they lie on that side, even if they have a vomiting, then they won't aspirate it. So ideally put them in the recovery position if they are conscious. If they are not conscious, then we have to see the CPR, which are A, B, C. If we can look into these three, then that is the best thing. So airway, A for airway. That means, is there something stuck? Are they, is there, say, a blood clot inside the throat? Or sometimes they can be dentures, or sometimes something might have fallen, or the tongue itself can fall backwards. So if the patient is breathing but very noisily, then that means there is an airway obstruction. So you need to clear the airway first. The first thing is to clear the airway. And then look for breathing. If they are breathing, then that's fine, you don't need to do anything. And then look for pulse. Is there a pulse or not? Everybody may not be able to feel for a pulse, but these two things are very important. Are they breathing? Is there an airway obstruction? If they are not breathing, then ideally, and if the heartbeat is not there, you can't feel the pulse. Sometimes you can feel the chest to see if the heart is beating. If these two things are not there, then ideally they have to be given CPR.
Okay, sir.
And CPR is where you give chest compressions. It would be very good if the people in the community are taught CPR in every
Okay,
village.
That was I supposed to ask.
Yeah. And so in CPR we give 30 chest compressions.
Okay, sir.
There is a specific way in which the hands should be kept on the chest. And so if the blood flow to the brain stops for 2 or 3 minutes, the brain dies. And then whatever we do, there's no use. So if the patient is conscious, try and roll him over without twisting the spine to a side position and wait until the emergency services come. If the patient is unconscious, then see if the airway is blocked or breathing is difficulty or there's a pulse or not. If these three things are not there, then we have, the first thing is to clear the airway. Then
Sorry
if
to
there,
interrupt you, sir. Is there any kind of like we should place him to the left or right? Because heart is on left, so we should not put pressure on left or something. It can be on any side.
it could be either side.
Okay.
Right side would be better, but the main thing is, because we don't know whether there's a spinal injury, try and rotate the patient as one unit. So rather than one person doing it, if there are two people, it's better, so that you don't twist the spine. So first thing is to put this hand, supposing you want to turn him to the right, put the hand at right angles,
Okay, sir.
and then take this hand and put it under the cheek, and then bend the other knee. And when this is done, as one unit, you turn the patient around. So this knee will prevent the injured person from turning on his stomach because it is bent, and this hand will support the
Neck and
head.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the way. So first this one, bend the knee, and then turn as one
We
unit.
have to first set him in position and then
Yes,
turn.
then turn.
Oh.
Okay, sir. Related to the same question, sir. When were the accident take place somewhere in a remote area? So most of the time we have felt that people are scared to take this patient to the hospital because of the inquiry of the police and the litigation and all. So here, as the Good Samaritan has been clearly given by this Supreme Court of India, there is a clear verdict. So there should be not any sort of the inquiry from the police side or the judiciary when the accident patient will anyone, whosoever take it to the hospital. Sir, my second question would be for you. Sir, the CPR and the training that you said that it should be taught to the village level, and we have to create the road safety champions to all the village level. So how long it take to teach a CPR to the common man so that they can handle the accident victim and take it to the hospital, or take it any sort of the spinal injury or any sort of the head injury that they can comfortably take to the hospital? How long it takes it?
Yeah, one is the CPR.
Okay, sir.
CPR can be taught in a couple of hours.
Yes, sir.
The technique of giving CPR. Now, all over India, they are having courses.
Okay, sir.
And if we can have a course at, say, community health center level
Okay.
or PHC level, and invite some of the youngsters and professionals and whoever is willing to come
Okay.
to come and learn CPR, that would be ideal. So it's basically a primary survey, which means see if the airway is blocked, see if the breathing is happening, pulse, and any deficit, and then how to take care of each of these functions and make sure that the patient stays alive until the emergency services come. So it's possible to teach CPR like in one morning session or in an afternoon session, and then of course we need to keep repeating this, because once you do the training and then you forget in 3 months or 6 months, so refresher course is also required. And in addition to that, what they have found even in advanced countries like UK, they have something called community first responders.
Okay, sir.
So in the UK, the aim is for a patient, for an accident where there's a life-threatening accident, the aim is for the emergency services to reach there in 15 minutes. But sometimes it takes longer, and sometimes they can come quicker. But within this 15 minutes, if the patient has stopped breathing, he will die. So in order to do that, what they've done is they've trained ordinary people in different remote areas all over the country. So they have their own jobs. They go to their job. They inform what time they are free, and so the local emergency services, they make a rota that he is available from this time to this time, that person is available. They have usually a motorcycle, and they carry a cylinder of oxygen and very basic equipment like airways and things like that. They have CPR training, and they are able to reach within 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes. In a situation like ours, where the emergency services can take up to an hour to reach, they maintain the patient until the emergency services reach. So they are trained in CPR, they are trained in assessing the patient.
Okay, sir.
They are trained if they need to give fluids, they can give fluids.
Okay,
So
sir.
if that kind of community first responders, or
Okay, sir.
whatever name we can use,
We should be created the same kind of the things
Yeah,
and
that would be very
also.
useful. Yeah.
Thank you also.